garnered enough experience. This agenda of mine is passion driven. I believe if I'm given the mandate
Passion
to go,
driven.
yes, and engage the leadership, because when it comes to enactment of laws, we are now in EALA 5, okay? Those are now 25 years down the road ever since the community was revived. This is EALA 5. And laws have been enacted. Implementation, domestication of the vision and the dream of our founding fathers is what is missing.
Free your mind now. Be part of the People's Pan-African Parliament. The Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe.
The Pan-African Pyramid, your speaker, Emperor Andrew Irumba Katusabe. On the chair, my elder brother, my comrade, Dr. Kisembo Extendo. Now, you had listened to the first episode. That was about him, giving you the background. Who is Kisembo? Blah, blah. How is he? His background, his childhood coming up, and so on. But there is a bigger issue why he invited him. Kisembo wants to represent Uganda in the East African Legislative Assembly, EALA. On the onset, they will tell you, Mr. Kisembo, when you go there, change EALA to East African Parliament, EAP, East African Parliament, from East African Legislative Assembly. Let it be our parliament as East Africans. That's the first one. Before you tell me any other thing that you're going to do in the first 100 days, which I'll ask you, for me that is the number one. It should be the East African Parliament. Now, Ronex Kisembo here, doctor, is actually a recipient of the Pan-African Pyramid Global Award class of 2025. Why did you forget that medal I gave you and the plaque? I gave you a plaque.
You did.
That medal is supposed to be put on every time you're going for a Pan-African engagement.
But I have my membership card with me right on the street.
That one is in the pocket. But the medal.
The medal, correct.
The medal.
My
I
apologies.
specifically did it that you have a plaque to put in your sitting room. And then you have a medal to identify you. If you carry that medal ready and go to any place in Tanzania or any place in Uganda or even in the Parliament of Uganda here, the first thing that would identify you from the crowd is that you're already Pan-African. Already. Before you ask any other thing, the moment you see the medal, that's the first qualification. So we are looking for the second one. Kisembo, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So, Kisembo is the recipient of the Pan-African Pyramid Global Award, and the category was the African Renaissance. I was very deliberate when I was choosing your category, African Renaissance. The Pan-Africanism that your great-grandfather Julius Nyerere, Kambarage, where he went to Tiama last time, the President Museveni will be talking about, Arap Moi here,
Yes.
Samora Machel, Robert Mugabe. That generation came and did very good work. By the way, the father of Kale Kaihura. Have you ever heard about Kalekezi? The father of Kale Kaihura?
Yes.
Those guys came and they did their part. Muammar Gaddafi had forgotten. But something happens in the middle between them, their generation, and us. Something happened.
Generational gap.
Yes. That the things they believed in, we, this generation, we tend not to mind about it, to mind about Africa. The father of Kaihura died in a plane crash in the skies of Ukraine. He was pursuing a Pan-African agenda in Russia and Ukraine. You get it? Patrice Lumumba here was killed in a most brutal way by subjecting him to an acid drum, just because, as Prime Minister of Congo, he woke up one day and said, we are going to nationalize our minerals. This is what killed him. So why did he die? He died for us, for the Congolese, for East Africans, for Africa. Because, and he knew, by the time he was saying that, he knew that if he moved that step, he would be in danger. Because the whites wanted those resources. So he came to salvage, to save. And he paid the highest price. This is exactly what they are now doing to, they are plotting against Ibrahim Traore, my elder. Ibrahim Traore, when he came, took over power, he went and looked for the blueprint of Sankara, Thomas Sankara. He asked himself, why was Thomas Sankara killed? This was the reason. We will go for that. We will go for that. What is the problem? Nationalizing the national resources. Right now they have started crafting all sorts of things. He has killed this number of people. He has killed this. But they're not telling us how many people have died in Gaza. America is not telling us how many people so far have died in Iran. Trump is open, declaring that I am targeting your bridges, I'm targeting your plants, I'm targeting people. The other day, Israel targeted a school, they killed. They are not talking about that. No, they are coming to Burkina Faso. Traore, you're a dictator. Traore, you're that. So, these are the issues. So I was telling you that our forefathers, the likes of Nyerere and so on, were so much up there. Our generation came and completely behaved like they don't know. They don't know. So why I awarded you, Dr. Missing-Kisembo, as African Renaissance, is because of what you started to do at a personal level. So for me, even before anybody agrees with you or disagrees with you, whether you should be in the EALA parliament or not, you already have my mandate. You have my support. This medal which I gave you is a clear manifestation that Kisembo is already doing it even before you give him an office to sit in. Yes, even before somebody says sit here, you started uniting East Africans in your own small ways. But finally, these ways everybody is seeing. You know, we have all, you know, had these bicycles, riding our bicycles normally. But look, you add a value, you say, we can ride these bicycles across the borders. So the act is not about riding bicycles, everybody rides the bicycle, but the purpose and the message. The purpose, why you're riding it across borders and the message. Then you bring another event, pilgrimage to Butiama. Although I didn't go there, because that was September.
Yes.
Remember, I had just finished my August award, August, and then September. You remember we were together. I want to tell you, my brother, there are lots of things I deal with during, before, during, and after the awards. Because these are, and now for you, because you have been handling these issues, you know them.
Yes.
Because of these personal things that we decide to do at personal level, you find that you finished an event, but you have a debt of 20 million.
Even more.
Or even more. Meanwhile, people are looking at you, they think you are enjoying, you are earning. Yet actually inside, internally, you are dying.
The drive pushing you.
Yes. So, immediately after that award, I couldn't have any, I couldn't open any other way to spend money. Because every money I was receiving was going to pay the debts at the award ceremony. So that's the reason I did not go. But at least you invited me and I appreciated it. But the point is, Kisembo Ronex, you have already united East Africans and Africa. So the urge to come and ask us, please now officially allow me to go and sit there and tap in more, because when you're in Parliament, the East African Parliament, it gives you more leverage.
It's a platform.
It's a platform to further your agenda.
Correct.
So for me, you don't even need to convince me. If I was a voter, Kisembo, you don't need to convince me. I just need to go to your history. I need to just go and see what you're doing and say, yes, he deserves. By the time I awarded you, I had profiled you. I couldn't just have awarded you. We profiled you. That profile is what qualifies you from the rest to say, Kisembo, you deserve. So from our own network as Pan-Africanists, we are behind you, we support you. we support you. I just called you to say this before you, that you belong to East Africa. You belong to East Africa. And so it will be correct to go and represent your people. So now, let's begin like this. Kisembo, what propels your mindset to start the projects that cut across Uganda?
Thank you, Right Honorable.
The Africa Mashariki.
Yes. Interestingly, I'll give a preamble. In the
Why I'm asking you that, we are enjoying the product, Africa Mashariki, Butiama, but we may not know the driver inside. What is it that propels you? This is what maybe wanted people now to understand. Yes.
Thank you. When I was sharing about my escapades in Arusha, what I would call the mistreatment by the immigration officials of Tanzania.
Yes, in the first episode you talked about witch hunting you from the school.
The school I joined had Kenyan teachers, had Burundi French teachers. Kenyan teachers were teaching English and other subjects. Now, teachers in Tanzania were uncomfortable having us go to take on such positions because of our commitment, our focus, and passion to teach, because now they felt threatened. To answer you, this whole thing started in 2007 when I met General Mugisha Muntu.
General Gregory Muntuyera.
Yes,
Muntu.
yes. When we were being witch hunted here and there, at a personal level, I was privileged. The school director really loved me a lot, and I was protected. But I could see Kenyan teachers, the French teachers from Burundi, they were always on the run. Every time immigration officials would come to visit the school. So one day, I chose to go to the EASA Secretariat in Arusha. And that time, the EALA session was going on. So most of the EALA members used to meet at a restaurant called the Matonge Club.
Matonge?
Matonge Club. That's where they could go for lunch.
Matonge is a Kiswahili name?
Yeah, it's a happening place.
Word.
Yes. And
Matonge. What would that mean in
well, it doesn't have a meaning per se. It's like calling a place.
Okay.
So, Matonge Club. So, that's where I met General Muntu. Those days we had the late Right Honorable Beria Kategaya. That afternoon I remember General Jimo Mwezi was there, and the late Ambassador Oneni. So when I went, because I knew them, but they didn't know me. So I went, I met General Muntu, I introduced myself to him as a Ugandan who is teaching in Arusha, and I tabled the challenge that I had seen. And I had read that from the year 2000, when the treaty for the EAC was signed by the heads of state, East Africans had the right to go around the partner states, engage in business, okay, interact without any hindrance.
Problem, yes.
Now, here we were offering a service as teachers in an international school in Tanzania, in Arusha, but being witch hunted by the immigration, something I didn't take lightly. So I briefed General Muntu, and I requested him to invite me to go and attend one of the plenary sessions of EALA. So General Muntu accepted, and the following day, it was around 3 p.m. I met him, and he led me into the house. I sat in. That time, EALA had a Kenyan speaker, the Right Honorable Abdulrahim Abdi. So General Muntu ushers me into the house as a guest. I sat, the speaker introduced me. I saw how they were conducting their business. But I had also tabled my concern that whereas the spirit of those who revived the community envisaged that people should be free and should get established and reside in the partner states, this wasn't happening. So, long story short, I stayed in Arusha for 2 years. I left Arusha and went to India because of my performance. Now, something interesting that from 2007, when I was in Arusha, because of what I was going through, I began writing articles in the newspaper called Arusha Times.
In Tanzania?
In Tanzania. Right from 2008, I began writing newspaper articles in Arusha Times. It was an English paper, which largely circulated in Arusha, Arusha, Kilimanjaro, and Dar es Salaam. So I would write, sharing the experience that I have and letting people know that we are better off together as opposed to these individual countries. These articles can be traced online from the year 2009 to date. So that is how, necessity has always been the mother of invention. So to me, my personal experience in Arusha propelled me to now begin, I formed this organization called Africa Mashariki Fest, which was officially launched here in Uganda on 8th of October at Nambole Stadium. The same day, presidents from the then partner states met in Munyonyo at Speak Resort to launch the standard gauge railway, 8th October 2014. This organization that I formed entirely focuses on promoting region integration and engaging the younger people to be the vanguards of our community. Our heads of state have done their part. And this whole thing of
actually for them, they already integrated.
Actually, the Wananchi are more integrated than the heads of state, because any misunderstanding between heads of state affects the momentum of the integration. That's why we've seen like countries closing borders because of misunderstandings by heads of state. Yet the Wananchi down are affected because of the cross-border.
I saw Uganda and Rwanda.
Yes, because of the cross-border trade.
When the leadership had the problems, the Rwandese and Ugandans were down here enjoying. They would even find any means to ensure that they reach Uganda and Rwanda, using all ways.
When borders were closed, the Banyarwanda who are here continued normally engaging and interacting with Ugandans, because we are one people, one destiny. Now, this misunderstanding, and indeed, when you look at the treaty for the establishment of EAC, it clearly stipulates that this revived community is people-centered and it should be private sector-led. Because the previous community collapsed because of ego amongst the leadership at strategic level. Yet the benefits that the Wananchi enjoy on a daily cannot really be ignored. So the organization I formed in 2014 has been championing different causes across the region, and the maiden one was to fly, to popularize the East African flag. That was my maiden assignment. We are busy carrying the Ugandan flag, Kenyan flag, Tanzanian flag. Now these small flags, as Mwalimu Nyerere rightly put it, will make it hard for our region to integrate. The best way to go is to embrace and promote one flag. That's the EAC flag. Yeah. So for me, in my small way, in 2014, after the launch, I got Jose Chameleon as an artist.
Dr.
Jose Chameleon. I got him, paid him some money, put him on a flight, and took him to a regional popularization tour of the EAC. Yes, of the EAC flag.
He accepted?
Yes. I briefed him. You see, Ugandan artists are talented, but there is one missing link, and I think let me use this platform, Right Honorable Speaker, to address it to the Federation, led by Eddie Kenzo Msuza and other stakeholders. The talent that we have in our Ugandan artists is amazing. The only thing they haven't understood and appreciated is composing their music in Kiswahili, which would now give them a wider reach. You see, as an artist, Bobby Wine is a very wonderful artist. I enjoy his music. Kenzo has very good music. Juliana Kanyomozi, Irene Namubiru, Rema, and others. But they are only limiting their music to the Ugandan audience by singing in Uganda. Jose Chameleon understood the trade. Jose Chameleon has a hit, Mamma Mia. It goes around the region. Kipepeo goes around the region. Now, when you go to these days with the current technology advancement and of course social media, they are paid based on views. okay, that how many streams, how many views, okay, whether TikTok, whether YouTube, they will pay you depending on the views, okay. Now, Jose Chameleon's song, okay, Badilisha, will hit in Uganda, it will play in Nairobi, in all the clubs in Dar es Salaam.
He will play it on his radio in Burundi.
Yes.
That's why he has opened the radio in Burundi.
Now,
because his music speaks to them also.
Now,
and they know him.
Now, for my brother, Bobby Wine, the music is enriching. Very deep message. But it's in Uganda. So the only audience which will appreciate that music is the Ugandan audience. So aren't you limiting yourself from tapping the raw-hanging fruits associated with the community?
But they say music is a language, universal language. That's why we are here. You can enjoy a song that is sung in Spanish. You actually don't understand the meaning, but you enjoy.
Then you are just enjoying the tune and the rhythm, okay? But you are not picking the message. Okay. For Chameleon's message, Chameleon's songs, because the message...
You enjoy both the message
and the
lyrics,
yes.
and the rhythm.
Yes.
And the band.
That's why I would urge all Ugandan artists to begin thinking regional. When you sit to compose a song, try. I've seen Kenzo here and there try, and a few others have been trying to put in a few lines in their songs of Swahili. That's a good start. Just know that when you compose a hit in Uganda, you are limiting yourself within Uganda and the Ugandan diaspora. But if it is in Swahili, you are guaranteed the audience in Kenya and Tanzania, Congo, Burundi, and across the region. That is number one.
And Congo alone has 300 million people.
Now, what we are looking at here, when I talk about music, when I took Chameleon to perform, we began in Kenya, Nakuru, Kisumu, Eldoret. The flag of East Africa is what we are popularizing. That instead of focusing on the Ugandan flag, so for me, I got Chameleon, I got Stephen Kiprotich, our own golden boy, both world champion and Olympic champion. So I got Stephen Kiprotich, I got Jose Chameleon, I got Wilson Kipsang. These were big brands in the marathon world, in the athletics community. So we were in Kenya, and I engaged them that when Kiprotich goes to compete in Moscow, he's given a Ugandan flag, and after winning, he runs around the pitch, flashing the Ugandan flag. That alone is okay, but in itself, there is a mistake. When we flash the East African flag, because East Africa is the powerhouse when it comes to long distance running and middle distance races. No marathoner has come from any other part apart from East Africa. So for me, the idea was, and I still maintain, that can we focus on promoting the flag of East Africa as opposed to promoting our individual flags, and this can be ably achieved via sports. That is why in 2016, when we went to Brazil for the Olympics, President Museveni handed over the flag to Kiprotich as captain Team Uganda. President Uhuru Kenyatta handed over the Kenyan flag to Eliud Kipchoge as the captain of Team Kenya. Now the point is, when they win, each shows their national flags. But the question would be, where does that leave East Africa? So to me, I strongly believe that we need to carry the East African flag as opposed to our national flags. That is the first assignment that I embarked on. And indeed, I want to take this opportunity to thank the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for the support. Because when I wrote to him and I stated that I need to lead a team of cheerleaders carrying the East African flag, and indeed he sponsored our trip to Brazil in 2016. Remember, 2014 is when the platform is formed, Africa Mashariki Fest. In 2014, I take Chameleon on a flag popularization tour in East Africa. Then 2016, President Museveni supports me with the team and went to Brazil. During the Olympic Games, I sat Kiprotich and Kipchoge together because these were contenders. I knew one of the two would win. I said, whoever wins, do our region a service by displaying the East African flag. And when Kipchoge won, Stephen Kiprotich went to Brazil as a defending champion, but Kipchoge won. So when Kipchoge was addressing the media, okay, in the media room, all international cameras focusing on him as a new Olympic champion. The flag in the background was an ESC. These were voluntary efforts because I believed that our future, our guaranteed future as a people lies in unity. That was the flag. But I strongly believe going forward, this business of partner states sending teams or athletes to these regional and international events should stop. We need now to begin fronting a regional team. United States, with over 50 states, you can see that they front one team. Otherwise, California would say we are fronting our own team, okay? But why do they choose to say all the 50 plus states have decided one? Now, these 8 countries, can't we do regional qualifiers and choose the creme de la creme of our region? Give them one flag of East Africa. Send them to, now Olympics are going to be, people are going for, even World Cup, football. Let's do regional qualifiers. And we choose the best defenders in the region, the best strikers, best midfielders. Can we now form a first 11 and second 11 of East Africa? So when we are going for World Cup, instead of dreaming when we shall play World Cup, if we integrated and formed one team from East Africa, we shall overwhelm.
But now, Dr. Kisembo, World Cup is 4 countries. 4 countries. United States of America united long time ago. So now it's one country. The East African community is still acting in individualistic tendency. Like this is Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan. However, we agree to work together on ABCD. They are not agreeing to have one leadership, one president. You get it? So when you're going to the World Cup, that will already be a non-starter. No, because it's a competition for world countries. This is a regional block. It's like you're saying SADC should also send one team. No, East Africa one team, and then ECOWAS one team. Now Sahel has also made their own. This one led by Traore and so on. This can be a dream come true if we completely agree to unite and become one country like United States of America, like United Kingdom.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I agree with you, but I have a different view. East Africa is now comprised of 8 countries. Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, Congo, and Somalia. Now, these 8 countries, if they chose for starters to say that we want to field one team when we are going for Olympics, okay? What this means, first of all, is that the leadership would agree, for starters, to say that we are a bloc. You see, the 4 pillars which established the treaty, sorry, for the establishment of ESC, has the 4th pillar as a political federation. When we federate politically, it means we shall have one leader at strategic level. We shall have one head of the region. Now forget this chairmanship, which is rotation. We are now meaning real having a president,
one president
of the region.
Of the East Africa.
Yes. And now it is treated as one country.
Yeah.
Okay?
And okay, first finish.
But to me, if our regional parliament sat and passed a bill, okay, and the leadership at strategic level agree that yes, we can front one, for example, you talked of the Sahel states. Good thing last year you were in Burkina Faso for that function. I've been to Mali, I've been to Burkina Faso. If the Sahel states, they even have a tournament they launched recently. If these 3 chose to say we are one bloc, and if you want us to participate in the World Cup, we are fronting one team. I mean, it's a question writing to FIFA. There is nothing cast in stone that Burundi has to send its team independently. When you go to these international events, you will be shocked. Countries like Burundi, they will only send one athlete. Let's bring it down here. In Uganda, 2016 in Brazil, you know we have Olympic Games, and after we got 4 Paralympic Games, those with people with disabilities. Now, Uganda in 2016 had only 1 athlete. You can imagine a delegation led by the Honorable Mpindi Bumali, who is our MP for the PWDs here. Now, I am in Brazil. I meet Honorable Mpindi Bumali in the Olympic Village with 1 athlete.
That's the delegation from Uganda.
Dennis Emong, David Emong.
They call it a delegation.
Represent. Now, what stops us from saying, can we have regional qualifiers with the PWDs? Can we select our top creme de la creme of the region under the Paralympians, and then we send that team with 1 flag? This is not rocket science, Right Honorable Speaker. This is doable. It's now the will, the willingness, and letting go of, you know, when you integrate, there are some things.
Selfishness, egoism.
Now, when
I hear you.
Look at Rwanda. Go and check Team Rwanda when you go for Olympics, when you go for World Championships. How many athletes do they field? And where does this leave us? So protectionism is doing us a disservice. When we say that let's go and carry 1 flag, allow me share briefly about the tourism angle. Uganda is promoting Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
Buy Uganda, build Uganda. Bubu.
Kenya is also pushing Magical Kenya. Then Tanzania, Unforgettable. Each country, Rwanda visits Rwanda. Each country is struggling on its own to market their tourism potential. President Paul Kagame of Rwanda signed that deal with Arsenal to have
Visit Rwanda.
Visit Rwanda.
It should have been Visit East Africa.
And then we should, you see this, we would all contribute and put in here. Uganda brings maybe $1 million, maybe Tanzania 2 million, Kenya 1 million, depending on
So
their.
we put Visit East Africa.
Visit East Africa. Destination East Africa. We market our region as a single tourism destination. There, because these tourists who come here, for example, if a tourist from US landed at Jomo Kenyatta, they'll go to Masai Mara, they'll go to Mombasa to see the ocean, Fort Jesus and all that. Then they'll cross, and shortly they'll be told, River Nile is in Uganda, the source is in Jinja. They'll board the bus and come to Kampala, to Jinja, then Kampala, they'll go to Machishoni Falls. Shortly, they want to cross to Kigali to look at Golia trekking and Kagera aviation, that side of the park. Shortly, they cross to Tanzania to go to Serengeti, then Zanzibar. Now, why is each country struggling to market their own, as opposed to putting resources together and market destination?
The tourist from America wants to visit East Africa.
Yes.
He wants, actually, when he comes to Kenya, there are specific places he wants to visit, then cross to Uganda, then cross to Rwanda, then cross to Tanzania.
And with our interconnectivity.
But we, the managers of the East African community, we have put barriers that sometimes even keep away these tourists from Kenya to arrive at the source of the Nile. If you want to come to the source of the Nile, you from America, you apply directly as I'm coming to Uganda, source of the Nile. Yet you
visa
apply,
restrictions.
I am going to East Africa.
Correct. Because when
and in East Africa, I will visit this in Kenya, I will visit this in Uganda, I will visit this in Rwanda, I will visit this in Tanzania.
Correct.
And they call it a day.
That is something.
And then you will have spent more money in East
region.
Africa.
Correct. And because of the interconnectivity that we have Rwanda Air, Air Tanzania, Uganda Airlines was revived, Kenya Airways, now the standard gauge railway that is ongoing, our road network connecting our countries. Now, a tourist who wishes to travel by road from Nairobi to come to see the source of the Nile can take a bus, Mash Power, this Simba coach,
or the railway now.
the SGR that is coming through, or a 40 minutes flight from Nairobi to Entebbe. Then somebody is seeing Lake Victoria, enjoying the life of Kampala, then crosses.
So are these the ideas you are taking now to the East African Parliament?
I want to believe that part of this I've been doing. I've never been deployed. I've never worked for government.
Now you want to be deployed officially.
I believe I've come of age, garnered enough experience, this agenda of mine is passion driven. I believe if I'm given the mandate
Passion
to go,
driven.
yes, and engage the leadership, because when it comes to enactment of laws, we are now in EALA 5, okay? Those are now 25 years down the road ever since the community was revived. This is EALA 5. And laws have been enacted. Implementation, domestication of the vision and the dream of our founding fathers is what is missing right now. We are here and we are still talking about issues of non-tariff barriers. You produce something, a neighbor blocks it from accessing market simply because of protectionism. These are things we need to really go and engage. And I believe and trust that it has come, it's right about time that some of us who have walked the journey, who believe in the agenda, to be entrusted with a platform. I am not coming out to contest because I'm seeking for a job. I believe I'm the best addition that Uganda can have to go and add my voice. You see, where the community is now, so many challenges are affecting the momentum of the dream of an integrated East Africa. But you would give, to me, I look at the recent summit which happened in Arusha on the 7th of March as a landmark summit where practical reforms were discussed by heads of state and were signed. Issues to do with elimination of non-tariff barriers. The funding model of the community was a problem. You see, we have 8 partner states with different economies, but the previous funding model was subjecting them to contribute the same. Some countries in the region are net importers. They hardly export anything in the region. And those that are taking the lion's share are contributing the same. Kenya, $7 million. Uganda, $7 million. Burundi, which sells nothing in the community, $7 million. South Sudan, a net importer, $7 million. That explains the default that you've seen they're defaulting annually, and then people say South Sudan is bad because they are not paying. That's why President Museveni was like, no, wait a minute.
What are they selling to you so that they
can
accumulate money from this population, then they give back to you? Burundi, what is Burundi selling to East African? So that he pays the same amount of money with Kenya and Tanzania.
All our supermarkets in the region are having Kenyan products, Tanzanian products, and Ugandan products. Now, you are subjecting a country which sells hardly nothing. Burundi, South Sudan sells hardly nothing. They are just net importers. But you want them to pay $70 million annually to the Secretariat. When they don't
How
get
much
that
are
money,
we making from the East African community
that's
as a country?
That's where President Museveni gave guidance. That before we demonize our brothers, he used a good example that he has a brother, General Saleh. If General Saleh cannot afford to pay school fees for his children, it's incumbent upon President Museveni now to pay tuition fees for General Saleh, as he also empowers him to manage
yes,
and get somewhere. You don't have to go lamenting, blocking
him, refuse to pay for his
and
children,
blocking him access,
yes,
because he's poor. The spirit of the integration dictates that we first focus on the market. Uganda is making millions of dollars
from the
trade. First of all, from the trade between Uganda and South Sudan. Now, even if Uganda chose to pay $7 million on behalf of South Sudan,
it is okay.
It is very okay. Off the profit.
After all, the South Sudanese who are buying Ugandan products. So that money actually would have come from South Sudanese.
Very good.
Indirectly.
Even Kenya. If Kenya chose to say we are going to pay $7 million on behalf of Burundi as long as they stay until they stabilize, so be it. Because a lot of Kenyan products are on the stores in Burundi and
in the East African community.
Correct.
Talk about the East African community. The Kenyan products are all over in the East African community. So if they find a brother like Burundi who is hardly selling anything to the community, but you are benefiting from their community, it would even be prudent for these 3 giants of East Africa, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, to contribute for the other, so that you help them to come up.
That's the guidance President Museveni was giving. You know, where we had reached, the general public out there was also lamenting, blaming South Sudan for non-payment, That's why they even lost the slot for speakership, sorry, for Secretary General of the community. You know, there's that rotation arrangement where each country will give us a chairman of the summit, but also a Secretary General for 5 years. When we went to Arusha in March, 7th March, South Sudan had to give us a new Secretary General. But other partner states were bashing South Sudan for non-payment, but also for President Salva Kiir not showing up at summit. But they never interrogated the whole idea of what makes South Sudan a default. You are pushing them to pay an amount that they cannot afford in the interim, because for us we have things to sell to them and earn. What do they sell to us? That's why President was like, what was the whole spirit of reviving the community? Was it money or the comradeship, the brotherhood, the Africanness in us?
In fact, what they are trying to do when you do that, you're trying to say, yes, we're a family, but if you don't have money, please don't come.
Please, exactly.
But you said we're a family. The poor, the rich, even the unborn.
That's why.
Because if you have a child in your stomach, but you belong to this family, that child belongs to us. So once that child is born, whether it has money or not, whether the parents dies after giving a birth, it is our responsibility to nurture that child who has been born one day later and the mother dies.
Correct.
When you do that, you are building this child tomorrow to also look after your great grandchildren when he is empowered. But when you say if you don't have money, then you don't deserve to be here, then it means you created your community to make money. But is the primary objective money?
Thank you.
No.
And that is Mose's angle. And this message is missing out even to the stakeholders, the leadership that we have. People are busy bashing South Sudan, they are busy bashing Burundi for non-payment, but they have not sat down to analyze the reason as to why these countries are failing to pay. You are conditioning them to pay $7 million.
Which they don't have. You see, in the court, Comrade Kisembo, in the court, even if I owe you money, and I have not denied that I owe you money, you take me to court. The first question the judge will ask is, did you ascertain that he has the capacity to pay you and he has refused to pay? Do you know that is very important? Have you ascertained that Irumba has the capacity to pay, but he has adamant he refused to pay you? If the answer is yes, he will ask you evidence. You bring his car logbook, you bring his land title, you bring his house. You say, Muramuz, my lord, this man who owns these properties, he cannot fail to pay when he owns this property. Then the judge will say, yes, you are right. But if you can bring a bicycle, and you say, this is his wealth, but I'm demanding him 10 million, and he has refused to pay, he will ask you, okay, you sell that bicycle and pay yourself. So that's the Burundi. What is it that Burundi sells to the community? That you come back and say, please pay. After all, we are benefiting from us. But if you're talking about Kenya selling its eggs, Kenya selling its maize brand, Kenya selling its milk across the East African community. I was in Tanzania. I went to Tanzanian supermarkets. You find products from House of Manji in Kenya. In Tanzania. You go to Kenya, you find the same from Tanzania. When you look at the population of Tanzania, you look at the turnaround, you realize that they are making money from the community. Now, before you say all of us should pay $1 million, you should ask yourself, are we all of us making $1 million from ourselves? Then you can have a fair judgment.
Yeah, so I thank the leadership during this 25th Ordinary Summit that was looked into with a keen eye, and they reformed the funding model, whereby right now all 8 partner states will pay 50%, first of all, equally. So the $7 million, now each country will pay $3.5 million as a flat rate. Then the other 50%, your GDP,
depending on
your
how much
you earn.
Very good. It's a very right moment to go for a break at this second episode. Then we'll come back with our last episode. You see, when we meet, we talk a lot, and you can't run all of it. There's a lot to talk in East Africa, and especially with Dr. Missing-Kisembo.
Free your mind now. Be part of the People's Pan-African Parliament. The Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe.